that I think some people have kind of forgotten about lately, or really don't think about too much anymore within their gaming. This example applies, or this point applies for any game that you play or anything that you do online, whether it be Street Fighter, whether it be Call of Duty, whether it be Mortal Kombat or Injustice 2 or Overwatch, or any game that you play competitively. So let's start off by saying online is extremely important in today's world for gaming, right? You know, everybody's online. You got PC players, we got PS4 players, we got Xbox, we got cross-platform games, we got shooting games. A lot of people are playing online now. And, you know, a lot of these games have ranking systems. Like, oh, you can play and you can level up with your friends. You could go on ranked battles. You can go in ranked competitive play in Overwatch, and where you can do all this ranked. And my whole theory is, I think we should kind of remove that. And it should just be casual play. Everything's like, just play. You know, no competitive play, no hardcore playing should really be in any online video game. And let me give you some examples. There's two different types of lag from what I have seen. Personally, there's lag where it's slow and the game's not moving, and you know, you and your opponent are slowing down, and that movement is just like bad, right? Like, even whether it's Call of Duty, it doesn't matter the game. There's two different types of lag. So there's lag where you're like, wow, my jab or my buttons are just not coming out. Like, this is so slow. And then the other.
Love your content.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And the other thing that I don't like, the other type of lag, is button input lag. So you have buttons that you hit and you know you hit them at a specific time. It doesn't come out right away. That's kind of more painful than the slow lag, because at least the slow lag, you see everything and you can kind of know when you do something, and you know, like, you can react to things, you can see things. The button input is very difficult, and it's the most difficult way to deal with lag is in fighting games. Shooters are kind of difficult too, but not as difficult as a fighting game. So let me give you an example of something like in a fighting game. So you have like jumps and things like that, and characters that have projectiles and basic stuff, right? Like, very simple, not too complex. So let's say in a fighting game that you're a specific character that needs to walk forward and approach a character that has a projectile, right? Because you have to get around it. It's difficult for your character. Maybe you play a big fat character, maybe you play a very slow character, or just very slow moving character. So you have to get around that. So a lot of times people, when they think of lag, is they have difficulty hitting combos. You know, like doing something like this. Hey, I can't even do it on regular. Or just doing any kind of combo. They have difficulty. They're like, wow, the lag was off. I had trouble because the timing threw me off. And a lot of people, that's generally the only instance where they really think of, but there's a lot of other instances too. So let's say that I'm a character that has to throw the projectile and kind of get around that projectile. So if you're walking forward, let's pretend you're like walking forward. You want to walk forward and block at the latest possible time that you know you can, because you want to advance forward and move towards your character. Now, when you hit that block button and you've not been hitting it, the game has to register that as an input, almost as if you hit a button. So almost it's like you can't walk through projectiles or obstacles because you can't hit that button in time, that back button or that away. And that affects you. You take damage, you take hits, because you can't move, you can't space, because you don't know, and you're waiting for a character and you go dash in and out of a specific range because you're looking and you're fishing for hits. You're like looking for instances to move, and your movement is part of your lag, so it affects the way that you move. Another great example is like Call of Duty. A lot of people say like, wow, I was behind the wall, how did he shoot me? That's lag. That's like when you know you've moved, you're probably in cover, but because you lag, or there is lag, the other person's screen doesn't see you moving behind that wall and avoiding that fire. And that causes stress. You're like, wow, I was 2 kills away from my score streak in Call of Duty. Now I don't get to have that wraith. Now I don't get to have that sentry gun that I wanted to have put in. Now my team can't get a comeback because I can't get another kill. And that affects the whole round. Every little bit and intricate tiny detail affects the outcome of something, affects the outcome of a match. So we could say, like, you know, in the NBA, for example, it's like, oh, if I had hit that three-pointer, like, we wouldn't have lost. But it's like, okay, well, what about the momentum after you make the three-pointer? Maybe they change their mindset, and now they're going to approach the game differently, and they're going to play better. Every little intricate detail matters in a match. So these games nowadays, they have, like, all this ranked match, ranked this, ranked that. And it's like, why? Because all of it is inaccurate play. In a sense, when people play online, you're playing a different kind of game. You're not playing the game that the creators and the developers wanted you to play that game. They wanted you to play it a specific way. And if you know, Street Fighter V creators created the game with lag on purpose because they wanted to simulate the experience of what it's like to play online and offline and make the experiences identical. That was the whole purpose of that game's design, so we hear, so we think. And that is kind of a bad thing, is if games are designed to be built on lag. So Street Fighter V's design said, oh, we're going to make this laggy on purpose so that when you play offline, you feel the same thing. But that's kind of why competitive players don't really like it as much. It's because there's that built-in lag, and it's like, wait, why? Games should be designed to be based on reaction, about seeing a character jump at you in a fighting game and being able to see that and say, I see you, gotcha. Not, I think you're going to jump, I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm just going to throw out this anti-air before you jump, thinking you probably will. It becomes a guessing game, and it becomes not reaction-based. The best play of any game is reaction. You know, like when you play a sport in real life, there's no lag. You see things and you change your strategy. When you play chess, you see it in like real time. Everything's real time. There's no like, oh well, we're gonna put your chess pieces out, and you're not gonna have time to put your chess pieces out in retaliation. What? It sounds stupid. Like, you want the game to play smoothly. So when people play online, they're like, oh, I'm so great, I'm winning. But it's like, but you're winning on a game's engine that's not how the game's truly played. So if you were to play someone offline, maybe a really good player is losing because they play a very unique playstyle. They like to move forward and block between projectiles. That's how they play. So when you have this element of lag or these things affecting your gameplay, it affects players, and it affects some players more than others. For instance, some players like to do a lot of special moves and just like do things because they don't really understand or know what they're doing. You know, they spam fireballs, they do uppercuts, or they do you know, the same play in Madden all the time because they know it works. They know, they're like, oh, this is my shit, like I'm just gonna keep doing this. Or you play NBA 2K17 and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna pass the ball to Russell Westbrook the whole game because I just keep doing it. It becomes an autopilot process. It's not a reactionary process. And you don't want that in your gaming, and you don't want that in competitive ranked. And that's kind of what it is it's predetermined gameplay that is built on guessing. It's not built on reaction. Because when you can't react, when you can't move forward, when you can't, you know, hide behind that wall in Call of Duty, or get that score streak because you couldn't, you know, you couldn't recover that health and you thought you did, and then you got shot around that corner, you know, all those different things. Or you're playing Overwatch and you're about to capture the objective and you got to heal, but you thought you healed and then you die. It's like all that stuff generates excuses, and that's why generally people complain online. They're like, oh, I lost because of this. But in reality, if you play offline in your local, you have no one to blame but yourself, because you know the engine, you understand the game, and you're like, wow, I can't blame anybody but myself because there's no lag. This is how the game is. And that's why playing offline is the best. And a lot of people are like, oh, online is the future. I'm like, yeah, it's the future, but it's a fucking shitty future. Because games should be designed to be reactionary, not predetermined. You shouldn't be able to just put somebody in a situation and be like, oh, time to guess. Like, you shouldn't have that. Games should be reactionary. You should feel like you accomplished and you earned your damage. You earned your defense. Everything is earned. You're like, wow, I earned that. Like, I saw that and I did that. It's smarter play. It's better play. Some of the best games in the world are that. You know, like You know, like soccer. Soccer is totally important. Like, you see everything in soccer. There's work to be done in something. You know, and that's part of the skill of playing reactionary versus playing autopilot, is you have to be smart. You have to see things as they change, and you have to understand that they're going to change. Whereas if you play a character or a shooter or a specific loadout in a game, and it's so good, you're not using your brain anymore. You're not really competing. You're just like, I know this tool's really good. I know it's very strong. I'm just going to use and abuse something. I'm abusing a tactic. I'm abusing a tool. And that's not cool. So that's my little short video on it, guys. Competitive online play should be going down the tubes. I think all games should be designed with this. Just free to play. Just let's play. Like lobbies, make endless rooms, and remove that concept of it's competitive, because that makes sore losers and weird jerk people on the internet, and that's not fun. That doesn't create a good atmosphere. We want to have, you know, fun times, fun games, good matches. You know, shake hands with people in real life. You know, don't get people angry and upset. I think that competitive aspect has done that to people. So that's basically it. Super short video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Take care.